you when you call us at 972-235-5555. That's the number in the studio. And yes, this is your business matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. For any appointments for private consultation, you do need to take an appointment with a front desk manager, 972-361-0606. And yes, the website is ahluwalialaw.com. With that, do want to thank Pallavi for staying back a little longer and taking few more questions before she leaves the studio today. Thank you so much, Pallavi. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And let's start taking all our calls. They've been patiently waiting through the break.
Yes, thank you so much for your patience. Going to the next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question. Fun Asia Radio, you are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hey, this is Answer.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question related to H1B and how to form that. Not bills for the project that I was working on. So, but my employer was like, keep on paying me, and then at the end, like this happened. Last year,
okay, so a couple of things here. So you must be deployed at the project that you have been that has been stated for you on the I-129. That includes the LCA and the address that was put on the I-129. So just the payment alone will not keep you in status. Just running payroll does not keep people in status. You have to understand that you have to be at work. So what the employer should be doing, unless they have listed the location of their work to be, the place, their main place of business, which is where you must be going every day to work, and that's how you should be getting paid. Now, not being paid for 1 month.
What's happening here.
Yeah. So now, not being paid for 1 month, of course, it's an issue. The fact is that you have to always be on payroll. Now, the impact on you for this, for transferring may be there. So if you transfer to another employer and you don't have current pay stubs, that may be an issue. You must have your last 2-3 months pay stubs with you when you transfer out. Otherwise, what you have to understand is that if USCIS were to so discover this, then they would ask you to step out and re-enter the country, as in they would not extend your I-94 in the country and have you either go consular processing, or if you have a valid visa on your passport, then travel out with a new approval notice, which would be the 797, and then enter the country.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your...
I think I got it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you for your call. Going on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, I wanted to find out, is there any income requirement for sponsoring my parents for green card? I'm a U.S. citizen.
Okay, so if you're sponsoring your parents, depending on the size of your household is how the poverty guidelines determine what you should be making. So, say for example, if you're making 40 or 50 and you have a family of 2 or 3, that should be okay. For one person, usually, and you're sponsoring one person, it requires 19,000, and then it goes on. There is a poverty guidelines that is published every year. There is one in place for 2015, 2016, another one will be published by the government, and they keep on changing the poverty guidelines, and this may change to where it goes back to, the number increases, and that will be at the end of June.
Okay, and how much is the time frame where once I filed the green card for my parents, how much is the time frame there? Is it like within a year, or is it more than a year?
Okay, so it's about within a year right now. Usually the I-130 is the first step if they're abroad. So the I-130 takes under 6 months to process, and after that is the NVC process. So all there is processing times, but not any waiting times on the visa bulletin. So the visa bulletin
Okay, so-
for US citizen parents is always current. It's however long that USCIS takes. So it's about under a year, I would say, or about a year.
Right. So is it better to file when they are here visiting, or it's better when they are in?
So you cannot have a plan to do this because that would violate their visitor intention. They cannot have a plan to come in here and then just do it. If, however, they are in the country and something happens where their mind changes and they do apply for an adjustment of status, then the entire processing may take a bit longer. It takes about, I'd like to say, 14 or 15 months sometimes for the adjustment of status to happen. But they will get travel permission and their EAD within about 90 to 120 days.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for your call. Going to our next caller, 972-235-5555 is the number in the studio, and we have Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices answering all your legal questions. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi Pallavi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Pallavi, the question is, I'm on H4 EAD.
Okay.
So, can I file for my green card on EAD?
So you have someone who's sponsoring you directly for a green card, correct?
Yeah, but I have H4 EAD. That's how I'm working.
Yeah, no, so let's just go down to the benefits of that. So the H4E implies that your husband already accepts no other benefits. So if your husband's priority date, if he's EB2 and he gets current before you do, then that would be the benefit there, right? But in case he were to he doesn't have a job or something like that, then this could be the backup for doing that. But then you have to understand you won't have the H4 EAD if he doesn't have an I-140.
Right, that's what was the backup plan. That's why we were planning to file the green card. And from H4 EAD, I can even file my H1, right, for the new April quota?
Yeah, so the requirement of filing for the quota is the existence of a job offer that's bona fide, right? And the fact that you're maintaining current status properly. And if you are maintaining your status and it is proper, then there should not be any issue.
And again, there will be lottery system, right, for H1 big quota?
Correct, it would be.
And one more question was, if my husband has changed the job from company A to company B, the company B has to apply for his green card again, right, in order to have that 140 priority date to be pulled back.
Correct. For you to port the priority date, the second employer will have to do a perm as well as get the I-140 approved. That's correct.
So for labor, do we have any perm process?
Yes. So the perm will have to be done. Labor as well as the I-140 both have to be approved.
And how much time does it take for labor approval right now these days? Like how much is the waiting period?
Currently, the Department of Labor is processing about June, July of last year's application. So I'd like to say roughly about 6 to 7 months.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Pallavi, for all the questions.
All right.
Thank you so much. 972-235-5555 is the number in the studio. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question. Can you please turn off the radio before you ask your question?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Actually, I had a question regarding the immigration. Right now, I'm on F1 OPT status, and then working as a consultant, and like for client. So I'm planning to go to India for my brother's marriage for about a 1 month stay or so, from February mid to March mid. So when I come back, I don't need any visa status to be like stamped or to go to consulate, because I have OPT till September 2016. It's my first OPT, not the extension. So what all documents do I need to take with me so that I don't have any problem while coming back to the immigration?
Sure. Good question. So, and a question right back to you is, you do have your F1 still stamped and it takes you till October of 2016? Your F1 on your passport?
2016. Yeah, that's actually F1 I have till 2018, but right now I'm in F1 OPT, so the OPT is still valid till 2016 September.
Okay, so the requirement for entry would be a valid stamp on the passport, which you already have, your EAD card, the fact that you've been employed since you had your OPT authorized, so a letter from your employer saying he's been working for me and he's been here, and then the fact that he's...
Actually, I work as a consultant, so I have like E2C, like I have a client and the employer.
Yeah, so, but the employer is the one who's giving your pay stubs, correct? That's where you record your time sheets, correct?
Yeah.
So then that's the employer that has to authenticate that you are, and they're permitting you to leave the country for a month, and you will be coming back and joining them. Because the concern sometimes with USCIS when people travel while they're still on their OPT is that whether they will come back and resume the employment, or was that indication that you had lost a job. Right? For OPTs that the unemployment time that's allowed for the first time OPT is only 60 days. So if you're utilizing 30 days out of that, they want to be assured that you're not...
Actually, right now I will be working from home like for 3 weeks, and I might take leave for just 2 weeks.
Okay, so then
so even if I go to India,
while he's abroad, he is still going to be working remotely for us, and then he will come back to resume work, and he'll be at our location or whatever the employer has to say.
And one good question is like I don't need any letter from client, because sometimes they are asking in the immigration even the client letter.
So the client letters usually ask for the H-1B purposes, not for this purpose. However, the officer at the port of entry, the CBP officer, does have discretion to extend that. So if you have some client support and you can obtain that, just take it with you. Don't show it until they ask for it.
Yeah, and one more question is like, I am right now, my position is a remote position. So does that will have any problem in that, because my client location is my position, I can work remotely from my work home or something like that. The client location is different.
No, as long as there is valid, again, this is not an LCA kind of an issue. It's an OPT, as long as you're doing valid work for your employer, and and that is on a project for an end client, and then that's it.
All right. Thank you so much for your call, and do appreciate if you keep your questions small, because we do want to take up as many calls as possible. She is here to help the community, and let's try to keep our questions short so that we can give chance to many more. All right. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yeah, hi, Pallavi, this is Zoe, but I'm not here with an immigration reform question, but a legal question.
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, there is girl I know, she's about to get married, but a quick question would be, if she has the house in her name, does that automatically fall into the community, or...
No.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So if she's not been married, then that's considered, and she's bought a home and it's hers, then it belongs to separate property. Okay, however, if she still has, mortgage payments that are going to be made from community assets, then if there were to be any issue, then that may be considered part of those payments, and the equity that gets created later on may be considered to be part of the community. However, the house, if it's free and clear and it's in her name, then that is clearly a separate property.
Perfect. So she doesn't have to make any contract or anything like that. She doesn't have to explicitly go into a contract to make sure that this doesn't fall in community, right?
No, she doesn't need to do that. God forbid, if there were to be any issues with her later on, then she can defend it by the purchase of the property and the fact that it happened prior to the marriage.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, Zohar.
All right, I believe that's the time we have. Pallavi, what do you think?
We have a few more minutes to answer some more questions. Let's just extend it and just.
I knew it. That is why I wanted to ask you because I know you're very liberal with our community members here. Thank you so much, Pallavi, for doing this community service here. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. You're the lucky one.
Yeah, hey, Pallavi. Thanks for taking my call. So I have a question on L1B. So currently, like my visa got expired and I applied for the extension in the month of December, but I haven't heard anything back from the USCIS. So just want to know like what is the processing time that is going to take, and like the visa center it was sent to us like 1 month.
Okay, so you're saying you have an L1B extension that is still pending, and how long you said it's been pending?
We applied in the month of September.
So just premium process it because they're running quite behind. The government is running quite behind in all their categories, and I'm kind of appalled at that because they have the next set of deadlines that are coming up, and they're going to be inundated with H1B petitions on the 1st of April, and they still have not resolved the past. I mean, they really need contractors in there, but I think that the government is looking for that 1225, that premium process upgrade to kind of take care of your petition.
Okay.
So I would have the employer just do that.
So this is my last year of my extension. So I'm not like even though I do a premium costing, my employer is saying like even though I do a premium costing, like I'll be not getting much out of it because like I just have like another 5 to 6 months of extension period.
Yeah, so but even when they were to come back, and even if they were to be in the slower moving category, as in not through premium but regular processing, and they come back, they will not give you longer time than what is authorized to you. So whether you get the answer now and resolve it or you get it later, it's still going to be the same time that you're going to be authorized.
Okay, then I'll do that because I'll talk to my employer to see like if that can be.
Yes. All right.
All right, thank you so much. Once again, you are listening to Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia. 972-361-0606 is the number to reach her and get an appointment for private consultation. And yes, ahluwalialaw.com is the website to go and find out more about the law firm. Going to our last caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, Pallavi, thank you for everything you do for our community, and just thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here's my question.
Go ahead.
So I have applied for citizenship, and I continue to have communication, receive communication from the adjudicating officer, which is just factually incorrect and not once but repeatedly. So let me just give you the facts, right? So I was asked to show up on the 9th of September for my first interview on citizenship.
Okay.
And I was unable to do that, and soon after I was out of the country, but before the 30 days expired, on 1st October,
Being started the date.
in my citizenship request. And the person who reviewed, who I talked to on the first as per the regulations.
Okay.
Then I received a letter on November 25, which was originally November 25, but I got it early December, which said that since I had not showed up, nor provided any reason for not showing up, therefore my application was being closed. So first of all, it's wrong because I did show up on October 1. I did submit a letter in writing explaining why I did not show up and requesting a reschedule. So this was wrong. Anyway, so then I had another info pass appointment on December 14th. And in that, not only did I refer to my earlier letter pointing out that, the decision was made on factual inaccuracy, but I also requested that the case be reopened. And because, the letter said that if within a year you request for the case to be reopened, then that should be okay. And so, apart from pointing out the factual inaccuracy of the decision, I also requested the case be reopened.
Okay.
And I spoke to an officer this time and talked about that inquiry desk. And the officer said, yes, regardless of whatever may have gone wrong, this letter was the right thing because it requested it to be reopened. And she couldn't do anything because, it was in a 30-day period where it had not hit her screen. Her screen was not showing the case of fraud, so she could do nothing. But that this letter of mine would set it right.
Okay.
And she would contact me within the next 30 days, and if I heard nothing within the next 30 days, I should once again come and make an info pass appointment.
Yeah, okay, so let me just quickly do this because before we lose time or we kind of go off again into the break on the top of the hour. So just real quick, if your first request was made in writing to reschedule your interview and that is part of the record, then you should have been okay for them to look at it, and if they did 30 days of, not 1 year, I heard you say 1 year of the decision, you have to file it in 30 days and hopefully you met that deadline, and once that motion has been filed and you have a motion to reopen that is pending, then it will take its processing time for it to get adjudicated, and that's the process to follow. USCIS...
But here's the thing, I got one more letter saying I did not even request for reopening.
Yeah, see, writing letters...
That is not true.
Yeah, well, let me just... Yeah, so,
things.
ma'am, just a second. So let me just tell you that there is a legal way to do it. So the point is not just to write a letter, but to do it on a form. So if you did did you do the 290B? How did you file for the response? So just writing a letter may not suffice. You have to follow the instructions as to how you have to reopen. Okay, so if you follow those instructions, because they have to have the, for a motion to reopen, they have to have the filing fees accompanying the form and the reason that you're making that request. And if that wasn't made within, in a timely fashion, then they will not have that request that's pending for you, even though you set up InfoPass appointments. So a lot of people think that when they've gone and spoken to an officer at the InfoPass, that the officer has noted some information. That's partly accurate. Sometimes the officers do. But sometimes there is legal procedure to be followed, and that's the procedure. If it was not followed, then you will not have a result that is positive in this case.
Okay, but in this case I followed the instructions that they mentioned. They did say there were no filing fees necessary. But anyway, I think that you're providing me additional information on a form that the letter never provided. So I'll just contact you directly and I'll show you all the correspondence.
The correspondence, so whatever your communication that has been from them has to be accurately followed, and if you did follow it, then of course you have some kind of a method to still go ahead and keep following up with that. But once they, we know that motions to reopen are made on forms and paid fees, you have to pay fees with that. The request to reschedule has to be done in writing and not by an InfoPass appointment. So because that's considered a bit too late. So I just want to make sure that you have all of those things in place to be able to contest what the USCIS decision on this matter is. So just wanted to wish you luck, and we look forward again to coming back, Meetu. And am I running out of time?
Yes, I am. Just exactly 30 seconds to sign off together today.
Okay, thank you so much, Meetu. I took all of your time.
No problem.
And I look forward to being back next week. And a quick reminder, this particular show will be on our website, aluwalialaw.com.
So that's a reminder.
Yes, and people can go and listen to it again, and they can hear themselves as well as get clarity on the questions.
And the website is aluwalialaw.com. And thank you, Pallavi, and see you next Wednesday, same time.
Thank you.
Available by Ahluwalia Law Offices PC for informational purposes only and does not constitute